Sansa Sweetling, you were innocent of any wrong, we know that. Yet you are the daughter of a traitor. How can I allow you to marry my son?
In the brutal lexicon of Game of Thrones, the most insidious and effective language is often spoken in the quiet, perfumed chambers of the powerful. There is no more devastating example of this than the scene in which Sansa Stark, the newly oppressed daughter of a political dynasty, is summoned before Queen Cersei Lannister and her small council. It is not a negotiation, it is a masterclass in psychological coercion. Here, in the Red Keep, surrounded by the most cunning and corrupt men in the realm, a young girl's love for her family is systematically identified as a weakness and then weaponized against her. First, as is always paramount, we need some context. The world as Sansa Stark knew it has ceased to exist. Just days, perhaps only hours before this scene, her father, Lord Eddard Stark, the hand of the king and the moral compass of the Seven Kingdoms, was arrested in the throne room. He was not just arrested, he was betrayed by the very men he was forced to trust, cut down by the gold cloaks he believed would uphold the law. The Stark household guard, the fierce Northmen who were her protectors, were systematically slaughtered. Her entire world, once a fortress of security and honor, has been violently and irrevocably upended. Her father, the man she revered, is now in the black cells, accused of the most heinous crime imaginable, treason against the crown. It is into this state of terror and confusion that she is summoned before the new center of power, Queen Regent Cersei Lannister, flanked by her council. These are not men gathered to dispense justice. They are the architects of the lie that has imprisoned her father. Grand Maester Pycelle, the doddering sycophant, a man whose wisdom is entirely subservient to power. Lord Varys, the master of whisperers, is the enigmatic observer, his face a mask of mild concern that conceals a web of infinite intrigue. And Lord Peter Baelish, the man who held a knife to her father's throat, is present as well, the architect of this very moment, now poised to play the role of her lone defender. This united front of authority is not designed to comfort or to clarify. It is designed to overwhelm, to intimidate, and to break the will of a terrified child. The scene begins not with an overt threat from the Queen, but with a coordinated assault on reality itself from her counselors. The opening salvo comes from Lord Varys, his voice dripping with a false, pitying sorrow.
Your father has proved to be an awful traitor, dear.
The choice of words is deliberate. He is not presenting an accusation to be debated. He is stating a proven fact. He uses the word awful to add a layer of moral condemnation. He is immediately seconded by Grand Maester Pycelle, who provides the fabricated narrative, adding a sense of immediacy and grotesque disrespect.
King Robert's body was still warm when Lord Eddard began plotting to steal Joffrey's rightful throne.
This is a vicious and effective lie. It paints Ned not just as a traitor, but as a ghoul, a man without loyalty or decency who schemed over the corpse of his dead friend. This two-pronged attack is designed to disorient Sansa, to shatter her foundational belief in her father's honor before she has a chance to even speak. They are not trying to convince her, they are trying to break her. Sansa's response is heartbreaking precisely because it is so naive. She does not counter with political arguments or evidence. Her defense is entirely emotional, rooted in the logic of her fairy tale world.
He wouldn't do that. He knows how much I love Joffrey. He wouldn't.
This single line is a devastating window into her psyche. In her mind, the most powerful force in the world is her love for her prince. She believes that her betrothal is not just a political arrangement, but a profound emotional reality that would naturally dictate her father's actions. The idea that Lord Eddard Stark would act against Joffrey is, to her, a personal betrayal of her love. She cannot yet comprehend that, in the Game of Thrones, a teenage girl's love is not a factor in the calculus of power.
Please, Your Grace, there's been a mistake. Send for my father, he'll tell you. The king was his friend.
She still believes in the power of truth, in the bonds of friendship, in the inherent justice of the system. She is appealing to a sense of decency and reason that has long since fled the Red Keep. She is a child trying to solve an adult's problem with a child's tools.
And Cersei is about to show her just how inadequate those tools are. Cersei's response is a masterwork of manipulative artistry. She does not meet Sansa's frantic plea with anger or impatience. Instead, she deploys her most effective weapon, a veneer of maternal sympathy.
Sansa Sweetling, you were innocent of any wrong, we know that.
The term of endearment, sweetling, is both condescending and disarming. She validates Sansa's feelings of innocence, creating a false sense of alliance. She skillfully separates the daughter from the father, telling Sansa that she is not to blame for the crimes of her bloodline. This is a classic psychological tactic. Create a temporary safe harbor for your victim to lower their defenses before delivering the killing blow. And the blow comes immediately.
Yet you are the daughter of a traitor. How can I allow you to marry my son?
With this single sentence, Cersei takes Sansa's dearest wish, her dream of marrying Joffrey and becoming queen, and holds it hostage. She transforms Sansa's personal fairy tale into the price of her father's political sins. The message is clear. Your future is conditional. Your dream is no longer a certainty, it is something you must now earn back. The foundation of Sansa's world has been cracked by the accusations, but this is the moment Cersei begins to expertly pry that crack open. Grand Maester Pycelle, ever the loyal toady, immediately jumps in to amplify the threat and give it a more sinister biological dimension.
A child born of a traitor's seed is no fit consort for our king. She is a sweet thing now, Your Grace, but in 10 years, who knows what treason she may hatch.
He has taken Sansa's future and twisted it into a threat against the crown. He is painting a picture of a future where Sansa, the smiling girl, becomes a venomous snake just like her father. The effect on Sansa is instantaneous and profound. She is no longer just defending her father's honor, she is now fighting for her own life and future. Her response is a torrent of panicked promises, a desperate attempt to prove her loyalty and exorcise the taint of her traitor's seed.
No, I'm not. I'll be a good wife to him. You'll see. I'll be a queen just like you, I promise. I won't hatch anything.
This is a moment of complete capitulation. She eagerly accepts the false premise of her father's guilt and focuses solely on saving herself. The most tragic part of her plea is her aspiration. I'll be a queen just like you. To the audience, who knows the depth of Cersei's misery and cruelty, this is a horrifying wish. But for Sansa, it is the highest goal she can imagine. She is promising to model herself after her tormentor, to become a loyal Lannister in thought, word, and deed, if only they will let her back into the fairy tale. It is at this moment of maximum desperation that the scene's true architect reveals his hand. Lord Baelish, who has been watching this entire exchange with the quiet intensity of a predator, finally speaks. He does not address the terrified girl, he addresses the queen.
The girl is innocent, Your Grace. She should be given a chance to prove her loyalty.
This is perhaps the most insidious and manipulative line in the entire scene. On the surface, it sounds as if he is defending Sansa, positioning himself as her lone advocate in a room of accusers. He appears to be offering her a lifeline. But what he is actually doing is far more sinister. He is providing Cersei with the perfect pretext to make her demand. He masterfully frames the act of coercion that is about to occur as an opportunity for Sansa, a chance for her to earn her way back into the court's good graces. He is the one who sanctifies the cruelty to come, dressing it up in the language of mercy. He, the man who betrayed her father, is now stage managing his daughter's own forced betrayal. Cersei, a masterful politician in her own right, understands his game immediately and seizes upon the opening he has created. Her tone shifts again, this time to that of a benevolent headmistress offering a difficult student a chance at redemption.
Little dove, you must write to Lady Catelyn. And your brother, the eldest, what's his name?
Robb.
The feigned forgetfulness of Robb's name is a subtle but powerful assertion of dominance. It communicates to Sansa that her family, so important to her, is of little consequence to the crown. The term of endearment she uses, little dove, is no longer the sweetling of before. A dove is a symbol of peace, but it is also a fragile, easily caged bird. It perfectly captures Sansa's powerlessness. The demand itself is presented as a reasonable, even compassionate course of action.
Word of your father's arrest will reach him soon, no doubt. Best it comes from you.
Cersei then masterfully links this act to the two things Sansa cares about most, her father's life and her own future.
If you would help your father, urge your brother to keep the king's peace. Tell him to come to King's Landing and swear his fealty to Joffrey.
Cersei has woven the perfect trap. She has framed an act of profound betrayal against House Stark as the one and only way for Sansa to show her loyalty to the crown and, by extension, save her father. She is forcing Sansa to choose between her father's life and her brother's war, placing the weight of that impossible decision squarely on the shoulders of a child. Even in this moment, broken and terrified, a flicker of the Stark spirit remains in Sansa. She makes one last, hesitant attempt to find solid ground.
If I could see my father, talk to him about...
She is still searching for the truth, for guidance from the one authority she has ever trusted. She believes that if she can just speak to him, she can understand this nightmare and navigate it correctly. It is a final, desperate appeal to the old world of honor and paternal protection. Cersei's response is the final, brutal blow that extinguishes that flicker of resistance. The mask of sympathy evaporates, replaced by a cold, sharp disappointment that is more terrifying than any overt anger.
You disappoint me, child.
This is a devastating emotional punishment, a direct attack on Sansa's desperate need for approval. Cersei follows it by reinforcing the foundational lie of the entire scene.
We've told you of your father's treason. Why would you want to speak to a traitor?
She frames Sansa's love for her father as a moral failing, a desire to consort with evil. With this, she severs the last thread connecting Sansa to her past, isolating her completely. The choice is no longer a choice. There is only one path forward. The scene's conclusion is a chilling affirmation of Sansa's complete entrapment. Her terrified question,
What will happen to him?
reveals that her focus has narrowed entirely to her father's survival. Cersei's answer is the final turn of the screw, the locking of the cage door.
That depends.
On what?
On your brother. And on you.
In this single exchange, Cersei has achieved all of her objectives. She has secured a powerful propaganda tool, a letter in the hand of a Stark that will sow confusion and doubt in the northern ranks and legitimize Joffrey's claim. More importantly, she has broken Sansa's will and bound her to the Lannister cause through a toxic cocktail of fear, hope, and love. Sansa will write the letter, believing it is a plea for her father's life. It will be her first significant political act, and it is an act of betrayal coerced from her through the systematic dismantling of her identity. This scene is the true death of the fairy tale. Sansa Stark, the girl who dreamed of songs and chivalry, is given a brutal lesson in the true nature of power. She learns that in King's Landing, love is not a shield, but a lever. She learns that words are not vehicles for truth, but cages for the unwary. And she learns that loyalty is not a matter of the heart, but a performance for survival. The quiet, cruel, and masterfully executed psychological violence of this scene is a crucible. It burns away the naive girl who entered the room, and from the ashes, a new Sansa Stark begins to form. It is a process that will be long and agonizing, but its origins are here, not with a crown or a throne, but with a quill, a tear, and a terrible, heartbreaking lesson in the unforgiving art of the game.
Sansa's psychological state is one of profound shock and terror. She is a girl raised on stories of gallant princes, beautiful queens, and noble knights. Her entire existence has been oriented toward a single glorious future, to marry the handsome Prince Joffrey and become the Queen of Westeros. She is a product of a system that teaches highborn ladies that their power lies in their courtesy, their beauty, and their obedience. She believes, with the unshakable faith of the naive, in the inherent goodness of the beautiful and the powerful. To her, Joffrey is not a cruel sadist, he is her golden-haired prince. Cersei is not a ruthless political operator, she is the epitome of regal grace, her future mother-in-law. The system she believes is just. Therefore, her father's arrest must be a terrible, inexplicable mistake. She is utterly alone, adrift in a court that has suddenly revealed its predatory nature.